Chosen ones, have you ever felt like your very existence shifts the atmosphere? As if you carry a presence that awakens something deep within those you encounter, be it awe, discomfort, or reflection. This is not by accident. You are part of a divine design. You are living karma, a spiritual test sent into people's lives to reveal their hearts and intentions. Your journey is not merely your own. It is interwoven with the lessons others are destined to learn. Some may celebrate your light, while others feel exposed in its glow, resisting the truth it brings to the surface. You may wonder why the reactions you receive are so intense, or why relationships around you seem to reflect such extremes. It's because you are more than a person. You are a divine instrument, bringing the balance of karma to the lives you touch. God has called you to stand as a reflection of divine justice, showing others their hidden strengths or flaws they must confront. But this role comes with a cost. As a chosen one, you walk a path that demands great sacrifice and unwavering faith. Your presence may provoke reactions you never expected, and the world's response to you may feel isolating. However, take heart in knowing that this is the refining fire of your purpose. Each trial you face is not only molding you, but also serving a higher purpose in the lives of others. As we journey through this message, remember that your role is both a privilege and a responsibility. You are here to learn, grow, and, most importantly, to serve as a living testament to the divine balance of justice and mercy. Let's dive deeper into why this role was assigned to you and how it manifests in your everyday interactions. Stay tuned, because the revelation will leave you questioning and inspired. When you walk into a room, something remarkable happens. People see themselves reflected in you. It's as though a divine mirror has been placed before them, showing not their outer appearance, but the state of their soul. Your presence is a spiritual wake-up call, stirring the unspoken truths they carry. This phenomenon isn't just coincidence, it's the deliberate design of the divine. You are a living catalyst, chosen to awaken self-awareness in others. For some, this is a gift. They may find clarity, inspiration, or even healing through their interactions with you. They see the strength in your walk, the light in your eyes, and feel encouraged to embrace their own growth. However, for others, this reflection feels like an indictment. They see their fears, weaknesses, or mistakes mirrored back at them, and instead of confronting these truths, they may project negativity onto you. You might ask, why does this happen? It's because the divine truth you carry unsettles the lies they've become comfortable living in. The closer you walk with God, the more your life becomes a reminder of the spiritual accountability they may be avoiding. This reaction isn't always easy to bear, but remember, it is not about you personally. It is about the divine purpose you embody. Consider how Scripture teaches us to embrace this role with humility. The Word says, "Let your light shine before others, so that they may see your good works and give glory to your Father in heaven." Matthew 5:16. You are not shining for personal recognition, but to glorify the one who sent you. The light you carry is meant to bring transformation, even if it comes with resistance. As you move through your day, think of every interaction as a potential divine appointment. Even when met with hostility or rejection, understand that these are signs of the spiritual work taking place. Your presence has a ripple effect, touching lives in ways you may never fully realize. And yet, this is just the beginning of the story. What happens when the mirror you hold forces others to confront their deepest fears? As a chosen one, your role as a living test mirrors the teachings of Yeshua himself. He was a figure who both inspired and unsettled those he encountered. His presence was a divine measure, revealing the hearts of men and exposing their true intentions. In the same way, Your journey holds the weight of divine purpose, and through you, others face a spiritual reckoning they cannot ignore. Yeshua spoke often of light and truth, knowing full well how they illuminate both virtue and vice. For everyone who does wicked things hates the light and does not come to the light, lest his works should be exposed. But whoever does what is true comes to the light. John 3:20-21. As his follower and a chosen one, you embody this light. You don't simply live your life, you live a testament to divine truth. This truth, while liberating to some, feels threatening to others. Why is this? It's because the truth you carry dismantles facades. Your presence challenges the lies people have built their lives upon, forcing them to confront uncomfortable realities. For those who welcome transformation, this encounter with you may become a turning point in their spiritual growth. But for others who resist the change truth demands, it sparks resentment and conflict. The story of Yeshua encountering the Pharisees is a striking parallel. He did not come to accuse them outright, but to live a life of righteousness that convicted them without words. His actions, healing the sick, forgiving sinners, and challenging oppressive traditions, revealed their hypocrisy. In the same way, your life's integrity, perseverance, and faith convict those around you without the need for confrontation. They see the truth in you and feel the weight of their own accountability. Yet, being a living test is not without its challenges. Yeshua warned his followers, "If the world hates you, know that it has hated me before it hated you." John 15:18. Understanding this is crucial to embracing your role. You were not chosen because the path would be easy, but because you are strong enough to carry it. The reactions of others are less about you and more about the spiritual battle being waged in their hearts. But here's the question: what happens when your light feels too heavy to bear? When rejection and hostility become overwhelming, how do you maintain your strength and purpose? These challenges may be painful, but they are also shaping you into the vessel God intended you to be. There is something extraordinary about the way your presence operates in the lives of others. It isn't always visible, but it's undeniable. You stir the depths of their spirits. To the untrained eye, it may look like coincidence, but spiritually, it is the hand of divine intervention. Your mere existence draws out hidden truths, not by force, but simply by being. It is a gift, but one that comes with profound implications. When people encounter you, they feel compelled to show their true selves, whether consciously or unconsciously. Those with pure hearts might feel inspired to reveal their kindness or integrity, while others, hiding behind masks of deceit or selfishness, often find their flaws rising to the surface. It's as though your presence activates a spiritual spotlight, and what was once hidden in shadow is brought into full view. This phenomenon can feel isolating. You may find yourself wondering why you seem to trigger such strong reactions from people, why strangers share their deepest struggles with you, or why some lash out in anger without cause. The truth is, their reaction isn't about you. It's about what God is doing through you. And yet, this role is not accidental. Yeshua himself was a revealer of hidden truths. In his ministry, he often uncovered the hearts of those around him, showing them the reality of their spiritual condition. For nothing is hidden that will not be made manifest, nor is anything secret that will not be known and come to light. Luke 8:17. His life was a living testament to the power of truth, and as his follower, you inherit this calling. The reactions you face are proof of your purpose. They indicate the spiritual work being done in the lives of those you encounter. Whether they embrace or reject the truths your presence reveals, the process is necessary for their growth and yours. But what happens when the truths you expose lead to conflict, or when the weight of others' reactions begins to wear you down? This is where your faith is tested, and your reliance on God becomes your greatest strength. As a chosen one, you are both a source of inspiration and a force of disruption. This duality is not only part of your purpose, but also a reflection of how divine truth operates in the world. Those who encounter you are drawn to the light you carry, yet the same light can evoke fear or discomfort in others. This paradox often leaves you standing at the intersection of admiration and rejection, a challenging yet purposeful place to be. Consider the way your strength and resilience radiate to those around you. To some, this is a beacon of hope, a reminder that they too can rise above life's challenges. These individuals are drawn to you not just because of what you say or do, but because of what your life represents. To them, your journey is proof of the divine at work. They find comfort in your presence and aspire to emulate the qualities they see in you. However, not everyone perceives your light in the same way. For others, your strength highlights their weaknesses. Your confidence may seem intimidating, your faith unsettling, and your integrity a silent judgment on their compromises. They fear what you represent, not because of any harm you've done, but because your existence forces them to confront truths they would rather ignore. Yeshua himself experienced this duality during his earthly ministry. While he healed and inspired many, others plotted against him, unable to accept the truth he embodied. The light shines in the darkness, and the darkness has not overcome it. John 1:5. His light was a comfort to some and a threat to others, much like yours is today. This duality can be a heavy burden. You might find yourself asking why you are met with such extremes, why some people seem to love you unconditionally while others reject you without reason. The answer lies in the divine role you've been assigned. You are not merely here to be accepted, you are here to be effective. And effectiveness often comes with resistance. But here's a thought to ponder. What happens when the love and admiration you receive tempt you toward pride, or when the fear and rejection you face pull you toward despair? How do you maintain balance while walking this razor-thin line between being loved and feared? The answer lies in the source of your light and the strength it provides. Being chosen does not exempt you from conflict. In fact, it often invites it. Yeshua understood this intimately. His life was marked by resistance, criticism, and betrayal, yet he navigated these challenges with unparalleled grace. As a chosen one, your life mirrors this dynamic. You are not called to avoid conflict, but to rise above it, reflecting divine justice in how you respond. Yeshua's approach to conflict was revolutionary. He did not retaliate against those who opposed him, nor did he shrink back in fear. Instead, he demonstrated grace under pressure, a trait that baffled his adversaries and inspired his followers. Blessed are the peacemakers, for they shall be called sons of God. Matthew 5:9. This was not a call to avoid confrontation, but to embody peace even in the midst of it. Your role as a living test means that you will encounter conflict regularly. People may misunderstand your intentions, project their insecurities onto you, or even actively oppose your efforts. These challenges are not signs of failure, they are evidence of your impact. The greater the light you carry, the more it will disrupt the darkness around you. But handling conflict requires wisdom and grace. It's tempting to respond defensively or to seek validation from those who reject you. Yet, Yeshua's example teaches a different approach, to rely on the strength and guidance of the divine. In doing so, you not only withstand the storms, but also become a beacon of justice, showing others the power of grace in action. This grace is not weakness, it is strength under control. It demonstrates to others that you are not driven by ego, but by purpose. And while conflict may be painful, It serves a greater purpose in refining you and revealing the hearts of those around you. But what happens when the conflict you face seems unrelenting? How do you sustain your grace when every part of you feels like giving up? As a chosen one, the light you carry is not just a gift, it is a force of change. While some embrace the transformation it inspires, others react with resentment. This reaction may feel unfair or even confusing, but it is deeply rooted in the spiritual realities of your purpose. The light you bring does not simply exist, it reveals, challenges, and disrupts. And not everyone is ready to face what it uncovers. To understand this, consider the nature of light itself. It illuminates what is hidden, making the unseen visible. In a spiritual sense, your light reveals truths that others may have spent years burying. For those seeking growth, this exposure is a blessing. It allows them to confront their flaws and move closer to the divine. But for those clinging to comfort or denial, the light feels like an invasion, a disruption of the illusions they've carefully constructed. This resentment is not new. Yeshua himself faced it throughout his ministry. He was the embodiment of divine truth, yet he was rejected by many. He came to his own, and his own people did not receive him. John 1:11. His presence exposed the hypocrisy of the religious leaders, challenged societal norms, and called people to a higher standard. And while some followed him, others resented him for shining a light on their darkness. Your journey follows a similar pattern. The resentment you face is rarely about you personally. Instead, it is a reaction to the truth and accountability your presence brings. This can manifest in subtle ways, like passive-aggressive comments or dismissive attitudes, or in more overt forms, like criticism or exclusion. It's important to remember that these reactions are less about you and more about the spiritual battle taking place in their lives. The challenge is to resist internalizing this resentment. It's natural to feel hurt or discouraged when others react negatively to your light, but these moments are opportunities for growth. They teach you resilience, humility, and the importance of relying on God's strength. Yeshua's words offer comfort in these times. Blessed are you when people insult you, persecute you, and falsely say all kinds of evil against you because of me. Matthew 5:11. His blessing reassures you that your suffering has purpose. But here's the deeper question. How do you continue to shine when resentment feels overwhelming? What happens when the very people you are meant to inspire become the ones who oppose you the most? This tension sets the stage for the next chapter, where we explore the sacrifices required of those who carry divine light. To be a chosen one is to walk a path marked by sacrifice. This is not just a sacrifice of comfort or convenience. It is often a sacrifice of relationships, opportunities, and even personal desires. Your role as living karma means that your life is no longer your own. It has been given over to a higher purpose, one that demands unwavering commitment and faith. Sacrifice is not a concept unfamiliar to those who walk with God. Throughout Scripture, those called by Him were often required to give up what was most precious to them. Abraham was asked to sacrifice Isaac. Moses gave up the luxuries of Pharaoh's palace. And Yeshua ultimately sacrificed his life. These sacrifices were not without reason. They were acts of obedience that aligned their lives with God's greater plan. As a chosen one, your sacrifices may not always be as dramatic, but they are no less significant. You might lose friendships because your light makes others uncomfortable. You might forego opportunities that conflict with your values. You might even find yourself walking alone at times, misunderstood by those who cannot comprehend the path you are on. These sacrifices are not punishments. They are part of your preparation. Yeshua's ultimate sacrifice on the cross is the clearest example of what it means to live for a higher purpose. Greater love has no one than this, to lay down one's life for one's friends. John 15:13. While you may not be called to lay down your life in the literal sense, you are called to lay down your ego, your desires, and your need for approval. This is what it means to live as a vessel of divine karma, a life of surrender that brings transformation to others. But sacrifice is not the end of the story. Every sacrifice you make is a seed planted in faith, one that will bear fruit in due time. The question is, how do you maintain hope when the cost feels too high? How do you find joy in the midst of loss, knowing that your sacrifices are part of a divine plan? These questions lead us to the next chapter, where we explore the balance of justice and grace in your role as a chosen one. As a chosen one, you walk a delicate line between justice and grace. Your life acts as a measure of balance, reflecting both the accountability of divine judgment and the mercy of divine love. This dual role is not easy to carry, but it is rooted in the teachings of Yeshua, who demonstrated how these two forces work together to bring about transformation. Yeshua often spoke of judgment, but his words were never harsh for the sake of condemnation. Instead, they were aimed at awakening the hearts of his listeners to the reality of their choices. Do not judge by appearances, but judge with right judgment. John 7:24. His call to judge rightly was not an invitation to criticize others, but to discern truth with wisdom and compassion. In the same way, your role as living karma requires you to navigate the spiritual weight of judgment with grace. Your presence serves as a mirror for others, revealing the consequences of their actions, not as punishment, but as an opportunity for growth. When people encounter you, they often feel the pull of accountability, even if they don't fully understand it. This is where the tension lies. You are a living embodiment of God's justice, but you are also called to extend the same grace that has been shown to you. Yeshua exemplified this balance in the story of the adulterous woman. When the Pharisees sought to condemn her, he responded, "Let him who is without sin among you be the first to throw a stone at her." John 8:7. His words convicted their hearts, exposing their hypocrisy. Yet he also extended grace to the woman, saying, "Go and sin no more." John 8:11. This moment was a perfect harmony of judgment and mercy, a model for how you are to walk in your calling. But balancing these two forces is not without its challenges. There will be times when the weight of judgment feels too heavy, or when extending grace feels impossible. In these moments, it's essential to remember that you are not the source of these forces. God is. Your role is not to carry the full burden, but to act as a vessel through which his justice and mercy flow. This brings us to a crucial question. How do you maintain this balance when faced with opposition or misunderstanding? What happens when the line between judgment and grace feels blurred? As we explore these tensions, the next chapter delves into why your light often evokes resistance and how this resistance shapes you for greater purpose. As a chosen one, your role in God's divine plan goes beyond what the eye can see. You are a spiritual test, placed in people's lives to guide them toward truth and alignment with God's will. This role may feel overwhelming at times, but it is a privilege to be part of something far greater than yourself. Throughout history, God has used individuals as instruments of transformation. Abraham, Esther, and Job all faced trials that shaped them while also impacting those around them. Like them, your presence challenges others to confront their strengths, weaknesses, and choices. You are not just a bystander. You are a divine tool for growth, both in their lives and your own. The reactions you evoke, whether admiration, resistance, or conflict, are part of this spiritual testing. When someone's response to you reveals hidden truths, it is not your responsibility to change them. Instead, trust that God is working through the process. "You did not choose me, but I chose you and appointed you that you should go and bear fruit." John 15:16. This fruit may take time to grow, but its impact is eternal. Being a test also refines you. The challenges you face teach you patience, resilience, and reliance on God. Each trial strengthens your faith and prepares you for greater purpose. Your role isn't to control outcomes, but to remain faithful to the calling God has placed on your life. The question to reflect on is this: how do you trust God's plan when the results of your efforts seem hidden? Faith is the key, knowing that every step you take is part of a divine design. In the grand tapestry of God's plan, your role is significant, even if the full picture is not yet revealed. This sets the stage for the next chapter, where we explore how divine justice unfolds in the lives of those you've touched. As a chosen one, your role in others' lives is not random. You are a divine catalyst, bringing accountability, growth, and balance. The effects of your presence may not be immediately visible, but God's justice works on a timeline far beyond human comprehension. For whatever one sows, that will he also reap. Galatians 6:7. Your actions plant seeds that God nurtures into fruition. Some individuals may embrace the truths you reveal, transforming their lives for the better. Others may resist, only to face the consequences of their choices later. Regardless of their reaction, your role is to remain faithful, trusting that divine justice will unfold as it should. The outcomes are not yours to control, they belong to God. Divine justice is not just about correction, it's about redemption. Even those who initially resist your influence are given opportunities for growth. Your presence helps them confront their flaws and align with God's will. You are not just a test, but also a vessel of His mercy, providing others the chance to heal and transform. This process is not always easy for you. You may feel burdened by the hostility of those who reject your light. Yet, Yeshua's example reminds you to persevere. He faced rejection and betrayal, but trusted fully in God's plan. His faith assures you that your sacrifices are part of a greater purpose. Though you may not see the results, trust that God's justice is unfolding in His perfect timing. Your task is not to oversee this process, but to be faithful to your calling. Every life you touch contributes to a divine tapestry, one far greater than you can imagine. How will you continue to trust in God's unseen work, even when the fruits of your labor seem distant? The answer lies in surrendering to His will, knowing that your presence is part of His eternal design.
Chosen ones, if you enjoy our videos and would like to support our channel, feel free to buy us a coffee. The link will be in the description below. Thanks for watching and have a blessed day.